how's it going? Sam here. I'm here working on a 2015 Nissan Sentra, doing the front brake pads and the front struts. Working on my mom's car right now, so I'm gonna give you a run through first of the things that you're gonna need, and hopefully this video will help somebody out. It's a pretty raw video, so anyways, I hope you find it useful. So here we go. Okay, first, your car comes with the jack already, but I like to use floor jacks for whatever reason. I just do. But there is a spot here that is designed for you to put the jack. Use it. It's there for a reason. I used to be the kind of guy that would put the jack all over the place, but no, just put it right there where they say to do it, and it works perfect. So take the tire off, you've got to take your brake pads off, the rotor off, all that kind of stuff to get to the strut. Okay, so first things first, 21 millimeter. So if you can get a breaker bar or a ratchet with a socket on this side or either side, it doesn't matter, and a combination wrench on one side so you can break it apart a lot easier, that would be the way to go. This line here will just pull off, that side will just pull off. This bolt here, or this nut here, is 18 millimeter. You're gonna need a pair of pliers. Just a pair of pliers similar to these, nothing expensive, these are just cheap pliers. There's a spot right behind, like directly behind that metal piece right there, that you can just hold it and break it loose. If you have a an impact socket or something, like a impact air gun, I use this as much as I can. Hammer drill doesn't particularly have enough power to get that off, but depending on what kind of tools you got on what you will need. So that will come off. This clip here right there, you could take a flathead screwdriver and hit it down this way, just pop that off, and then your line will push through and come right out. Pretty simple. Just make sure that this line and that line don't get in the way, you don't pinch them and mess them up, anything like that. Not always the best way to have this just sitting there like that for your brake pads. If you got something that you could put here to more or less get it out of the way better, that's probably a better idea, but no, right now I don't, and I'm not gonna go find something. So before you take any of this stuff off, you go up here. There's 3 bolts. 1, 2, and the third one is up here. There's a little window, I call it a window. It just took a small flathead screwdriver right here, pop that open, and right down in there is where the third screw is at, or bolt, sorry. You take your 13 millimeter, you can do 3/8 drive, 1/2 inch drive, it really doesn't matter. Slide it up in there and then just take it out. And then I use my magnet to reach in there and pull it out. Simple as that. Don't lose them, but your new one should come with some new bolts in it anyways. So I already took this one loose, that one loose, and that one loose. So now I'm gonna come down here and I'm gonna take that one loose first. Then I'm gonna take, sorry about that. Then I'm gonna take this one loose, this one loose. I'm gonna pull one out. And one thing that I do like to do is I have another jack that I put here. I have another floor jack on the other side, but right now what I do is I like to take it, stick it under there somewhere, just kind of put some support on it so you can lift it up and down. Kind of helps once you get these nuts off, it'll help to be able to hold it in place and be able to pull them bolts out. And don't be afraid if you need to, which is what I had to do, is take the end of your breaker bar or something, or if you got a rubber mallet, or just don't get too crazy with it. But when you take that off, then you'll just hammer it right on through and you'll be able to pull it out. So don't get too crazy with it and start messing that up or mushrooming it. If that's the case, then there's something else going on. Okay, well, I'll get back with y'all in a minute. I'm gonna pull this out. Okay, so I've got these broken loose. Nut off, nut off, nut off here. I will say that on this one, that sucker was so tight. It was extremely hard and I almost busted my knuckles. So if you have a second person to help you, that would be awesome. What I did is I got lucky and on one of my on my jack, this AC Delco jack, it comes with this bar right here, and it actually ended up being perfect, and it fits a 1/2 inch. So I used this, my 18mm socket, and then I had to put my pliers on the back side and really squeeze down on it, and I had to severely get underneath it about right here, and even use my my knee and my elbow all together and really give it hell, and finally got it to bust loose. Once it busts loose, you're good. But it's that initial, that thing was a whole lot tighter than the other side was. So once I got that off, I just used this and still had the pliers on the back and run the nut off. I did the same thing with both of these. Once the nuts came loose, then I just took my hammer drill and unscrewed the nuts off of it. Okay, so, oh, that's nice. That's nice. First one came out easy. Try to keep all your parts together. See your sway bar, you can see that the bolt is kind of at an angle right there. And this is what I talked about, having this jack underneath here. So let's take that, tighten it back up. My bad, that was to the wrong jack. So we're just gonna take it here. I already tightened it up, so we should be on it a little bit. Well, maybe I didn't, since I was using the always helps have the right stuff. Anyway, so let's try this again. So pick it up a little bit. That's a little loose, but you could tell that still not able to get that one out. So let's see if we can. Well, I did not have this problem on the other side. Let's see. What did I do different? Maybe because this one was actually good. The other side was bad. So it was a lot easier to manipulate. So what I'm gonna do, well, let's do this. Sorry if the video quality is not all that great. Okay, so I'm gonna take that off here. Save me a little time. still not coming up. Nope. Yes, it is. So what am I doing? Okay, let's see. Okay, what I'm going to try to do is I'm going to try to get this bolt out first. And I'm pretty sure that I'll be able to manipulate it from there and get it out. So I'll be back. So here's a quick side-by-side of the old one and the new one. But what I did do was take that clip out of the back first before I took it off. Took the lines loose because once you take the bolts out of here, this leans back and it puts stress on this line, so you want to make sure that you take it off first, and it'll just kind of lay on this side before you take it out. Okay, so I know there's probably an easier way to get this out, but what I did do was, and I couldn't video it because I'm trying to do it by myself, so what I did was I took the bolts up top out. Of course, I was holding it here with my left hand and taking the bolt out up here with my right hand, and then when I brought it down, I leaned it to the left this way until it came to a good spot where I could just pull it off and take it out. So that's what I'm going to do to put it back in, is take it on the left, turn it this way, put that in the hole, and then shove it up in there. But what I will tell you is that when you have these side by side like this, okay, put them almost exactly the same, and what you'll find out, let's see if I can get a better shot, these two bolt holes here are closer than these two bolt holes. So that's the way the old one came out, so you want to try to get this as close as possible to this one. So I need to rotate that a little bit more. I think so anyways. But you can just hold on to the spring and use your other hand and just rotate that a little bit. You should be able to get close enough that when you stab it in there, you can get a bolt started, and then hopefully you can rotate it enough to get the other bolt started. But definitely make sure, because on the other side I did not do that, and I fought it for a little bit until I figured that out. So I don't do this very often, so things like that tend to slip. So anyways, here we go with putting back on the other one, the new one. Okay, so I was doing a lot of things kind of wrong, which is more or less why I'm making this video, because I knew I was going to. But okay, so the very first thing that I should have done when I did everything, before I took these bolts out, I used the jack and lift it up and take, you can see now that it's loose, slides right in and out. Okay, so I did not figure that out the first time, obviously, so but I did this time. So I put these bolts in there. They're easy to put in there. So I did this backwards on the other side too, I think. But so put those bolts in there already. They're not even tight. And then I put the jack underneath here and lifted it up, jacked it up until it just went right in the hole. So obviously that makes it so much easier like that. So I'll be able to tighten that up, tighten those two up. I got my line on the correct side here, so I'll show you that. It just slides right back in there, and this one slides right in over here. Right there. So you got your line there. Seems kind of tight to me, but it's probably just because I have it jacked up, so don't freak out on me. So I am going to tighten this one first, and then I'm going to tighten these two. Then I will back off the jack and see where we're sitting at. Oh, Then another thing I did. Okay, so I said that I leaned it this way. Actually, I don't even remember what I said I did. Anyways, come to find out, I didn't have to do none of that. If I'd have just lifted this up the first time and pulled that straight out, we would have been fine. So I did a whole bunch of stuff that I didn't need to do, but now I know. And hopefully that saves you some time if you're still watching this video. So now I'm gonna put it all together. I bolted it up first up here with these two before I went and put these on. That way you can let go of it and it was just hanging there. So now I'm gonna put the third bolt on up there, and I'm gonna tighten those three first, and then I will come back and tighten all of these. And everything is just gonna be hand tight. I'm not torquing anything. So I'll be back again. Okay, she's all back together. I tightened this one up first before I went and tightened these. But before I even did all that, I went up here and I put these bolts in first. So on this one, I used a magnet that had about an 8 or 10 pound pull on it. So, and this is before you put the bolts in on that one or those two there. That way this sits kind of loose and you can move it around. So I looked down in that window, saw that the hole wasn't lined up. So I used a little screwdriver to line up the hole. And my magnet was just strong enough where I could get it started, then pull the magnet off, and then put the socket on it and tighten it up. Just a little secret that I did, because that was really a pain if it doesn't stick inside your socket, and you could drop it like I did the first time and had to fish it out with the magnet. So, but anyways, that's what I did. Then I come back and tighten those, make sure everything's right. Got my clip in. If you're fighting that clip, then it's not in there right. This should pull back far enough where you can, the clip should slide in there pretty good. Fairly easy. So if you're struggling with it, don't bend it, don't break it or nothing. Just restart again and make sure you got it all the way through. So, appreciate y'all watching the video. Let me know what you think. Have a blessed day.